I know, it doesn't make any sense. That's you talking in my ear. I just need to carry you around. I'll never lose.
The Pride guy was in Master League. So
Yeah, I saw that.
You walked
I was
right
pretty
over
pleased
him.
about that, because there's no way I'd ever beat a Master Terran.
Ultra's demonstrating their brilliant pathing.
Yeah.
Don't know what he's trying to say.
I don't either.
What do Terran players do against it that works? Well, I mean, I've lost plenty of games using this style. It just comes down to being outplayed, though. I mean, what could Luftwaffe have done better? Because, you know, he didn't really expand enough. He needed more money so that he could build more stuff in general. But, I mean, I think this is a really powerful build, and I don't think that there is necessarily a hard counter out there. Maybe we can ask Gerbil, because Gerbil says he lost the game fairly convincingly with it the other day, and we're going to watch that replay later.
You know, I had Overlords. I don't know if you saw it or not, but I have, you know, Overlords kind of scattered, you know, in the middle of the map, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
But I still never saw the drops coming. I don't know if they
Your
popped on the
Overlords
minimap or
aren't
not.
positioned well enough. You know,
They're
I mean,
just
like
not enough?
right now, I'm still in the game and I'm looking. Your vision's a little better, but this is pretty it's still pretty shitty. Like between your base and his base, you had one Overlord. So yeah, if a medevac flew right across the path of that Overlord, you would have seen it.
Right.
But you could have just as easily had 4 in that path, and then if he tried to drop your base at all, it would not have been able to get in there without being spotted. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. If you can ever get your hand on machine VODs or replays, you should definitely take the time to watch those. Because he does such a good job of just having vision of all the places where he is vulnerable, namely, you know, drop paths.
Right.
So, We've got time for a couple more games. See if I can find a higher level Terran to come play with us, though.
I am feeling a little more confident, I guess. I still am stingy or sketchy with the droning. I mean, damn if it doesn't work, but I always buy, even still through habit, like make lings instead of drones when I, you know, go in the safe mode.
Yeah, you know, droning is a big part of this, and just kind of understanding when you're safe to drone and when you're not can be a little bit of a difficulty.
I guess a lot of the issue is I don't know if it's just the way the other people played, or maybe I just have all these memories of Terran where like I'll wipe out their army, and I'll be like, okay, I'm feeling good, and I'll go to either, you know, finish the game or whatever, and when I get to their base, they're remassed, and I don't know if it's because they had like 20 racks or whatever what they were doing, but for some reason it just seems like I always remember these Terran being able to remass fairly quickly, or at least quickly enough that they could keep dropping or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's always kind of put me in this mode of once I'm saturated, immediately switch to units, kind of deal.
Yeah, you can't do that. You know, I mean, you want to, you always want to be droning. You never want to stop. You know, it's something that you just keep doing, and you keep doing, and you keep doing, and you just never allow yourself to back off until you have the most drones. Until you have full saturation for 5 bases. You know, obviously you're not going to really.
Another thing that's kind of strange is yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I've been 15 hatching the whole time, and I haven't actually had a successful bunker on me. I don't know why that is. It seems like in the games I play, I always get bunkered, and I just like, okay, I can't win, and I don't give up, but it's like, you know, it puts me so far behind.
Well, let's play a couple where I'll bunker rush you, and we'll talk through how to deal with that. Because I can pull a pretty mean bunker rush. It's kind of my specialty. So, and the reason I'm actually volunteering to do this right now is because I don't have any really good Terrans that are available, and it's really making me sad. I need a larger network of Terran practice partners. So.
Yeah.
Okay, I probably want to pick Terran. That would help. So you don't know I'm bunker rushing you. You're going to have to
Okay.
scout
Yeah.
it.
Well, yeah.
And,
I'll do. I'll try to do what I would normally do.
let's talk for just a second about what we're ready to commit to as a Zerg player. We see the 2 racks. We know aggression is coming. We absolutely must have at least 1 spine crawler. At least.
Right.
We're ready to make a second, and then if he decides to kind of all in us, we're ready to make a 3rd or even a 4th. Kind of treating it like Ling Baneling in ZvZ. You know, because if you go fast expand in ZvZ against Ling Bane, you're ready to make 4 spines. That's the extent of our commitment.
Right.
Now, obviously, we don't want to make 4 spines. That would be kind of. I mean, that's going to hurt. That's 400 minerals. That's 4 drones. But if Terran's going to all in us, then we want to do what it takes to not die. You know,
right.
So for the Terran player, if he's kind of making an all-in gesture, he wants to get those 4 spines out of you, because that's kind of his way back into the game. But at the same time, we don't want to die. We got to stay alive. So we're ready to go that far. I don't want you thinking 4 spine crawlers. I want you thinking 1 or 2, and then if it continues, then 3 or 4. But initially, it's 1 or 2. Your queen is always going to start in your natural. You've screwed this up a couple times, and you can't do this when you're getting seriously pressured. You have to have that extra body down there, and there's several reasons for this. The biggest one, though, is because your queen allows your Zerglings to get in the fight without taking losses. You're very restricted in the amount of lings you have in the early game. You'll have 6, 8, 10, 12. They're not coming out, 16 at a time. It's the first fucking 3 minutes of the game. You just don't have that kind of macro at your disposal. But with our queen, so back up. So if we go engage with 6 Zerglings and he has 6 Marines, then we're going to lose 2 or 3 lings before they ever even get up in his face, right?
Right.
And he's just going to kite us and kite us and kite us and kite us, and then we're dead. And then he comes and he attacks our hatchery. That's not what we want. We want to engage with the queen, and then he can't really kite the queen because she's a ranged unit. And as he's engaging the queen, we engage with the lings until we're off the creep, and then we back up. So we're only fighting on creep. The queen has to be there, and we're making lings until we're safe. The instant you feel like the pressure is over, the instant you feel like you are safe, the instant you feel like you have dealt with his aggression, you have to go back to droning, because the Terran player will come out ahead 100% of the time when he goes 2 racks. It's just the way it works.
See, okay. Now, there's also been instances where I have kind of like pushed back some sort of thing and felt, safe. So I started droning, and then within 30 seconds, they're coming back at me with something else, and I droned the whole time, and they pushed. So, that's something you just have to scout for, or what kind of suggestion would you have for that?
Can you ask that again? I kind of missed it.
Like, I've had situations where someone would do early pressure, and this doesn't necessarily even have to pertain to Terran, but they'll put early pressure, I'll defend it, and I'm like, okay, I'm safe, I'll drone. And then within like a minute, they're back again with the second force that they masked in their base or whatever, and I drone the whole time.
All right, well, there's an important kind of lesson in there as well, and that is you have to deal with the pressure, the initial pressure, and you have to figure out what's coming next. So you're right, you do have to scout for it. And if you run your leftover lings to his base, and you see he hasn't expanded, and you poke up the ramp, and you see more than a handful of lings, or I'm sorry, a handful of Marines, that is a definite indicator that that trouble is brewing.
Okay.
So you want to absolutely, when you feel like he hasn't expanded in time, you feel like, okay, it's been too long, he needs to have an expansion done, this has to be an all-in. In that situation, you sack that Overlord and you make sure. Because you have to treat that like a 4-gate. If he's going to go 4 racks off one base, if he's going to go 5 racks off one base. I had a guy go up to 7 racks against me on one base one time. And if you have a guy doing that, you can't drone. You have to just pure unit production, spine crawlers, queens, whatever it takes. Because he's rapidly mining out that main, and if you defend his all-in, the game ends and you win.
Right. Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to bunker rush you a couple times.
Okay.
And we're going to just kind of see how it goes, and then that'll kind of be, we'll be approaching the end of our time by then.
You know, see, I don't have you talking in my ear this time, so.
Yep, so it's going to be kind of on you.
Yep. And your keyboard spam is intimidating.
Sorry.
It's like that noise you hear before, you know, a predator's approaching you. You just hear the spam.
Well, you shouldn't worry too much. I am obviously not a main Terran player. If you can defend the initial pressure, you're going to be at a huge advantage because you've played late game Zerg, and I have not played late game Terran. So if you get through the early game, you're safe.
Do you handle like close positions with Terran and stuff, like when you 15 hatch, like on this map and such, differently? Do you not 15 hatch if you're close positions? Does it matter? Do you do it anyway?
I'll do it anyway.
You do it anyway?
Yeah. Alright, so SCVs kind of botched up my build a little bit. We'll be okay.
We hear you. In the rear with the gear. Huh? Uh-huh.
You know, different pros will actually interpret it in different ways. They'll tell you that, you know, A, you always want to go hatch first, or B, going pool first is actually better against this kind of thing.
Mm.
And lucky for you, we are in close positions, in case you didn't know it, just based on how fast my SCV got there.
Yeah, that was pretty quick. And you probably already got me because my macro slipped a little bit.
You better fix it.
Yeah, I sort of did. Whatever.
Our SCVs are under attack.
Oh, that's just great. I'm going. SCV ready. I can't build here. You're the boss. Sure thing. Want a piece of me, boy? In the rear with the gear.
It's tough.
I know. This is the one. This is exactly the one that always gets me too.
Alright, so let's talk about, you know, I mean, you can still technically break out of this.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I usually just build a crawler in my base, but
I mean, if you lose the hatch, you're obviously
yeah,
very, very, very far behind.
yes. And then this is the point where it's just kind of like, okay, well.
So what did you, well, did you drone scout?
Bad news?
Yeah, I saw the
Yeah,
drone.
I saw your base. You told me you were close positions before. I had actually scouted it, but like you said, by the time you, as early as you came up, it was pretty obvious. When I saw the second SCV, you know, show up, I mean, it was pretty obvious that what you were going to be doing. I guess the mistake was I didn't pull off enough drones until pretty much after you started already building.
Additional supply depots.
I mean, your mistake was letting me bunker your ramp. You know, that can't happen.
Right.
And anytime you know you're getting 2 racks, that ramp being blocked has to become a serious concern. It has to be a priority. You have to, you know, under no circumstance can you allow that to happen. That's free win for Terran.
So just send a drone and
Patrol
like
it,
ramp block or something.
do whatever you have to do, whatever it takes to buy yourself the time to get something down the ramp to prevent those bunkers from happening. You know, that's just